Oi, how's it going? Hope you're keeping well out there. So, haven't been doing a whole lot in here apart from making a mess. And the place is a bit once again. Never stays clean for long. But I'm making another bust into it. Need to keep the bench sort of half reasonable. But I've been working on a few projects, little home buildy stuff things. And none of them have worked. So, which is the usual crack here. But that's it. As for news, I have got something interesting, which I'll skip to now, in the house. It's a Grundig Megatron. It's a 37-inch 4:3 ratio colour TV from 1997. Now when I say this thing is big, it's ridiculously big, okay? Now I'm sure some of you in the trade out there might have come across one or two of these in the past. So I had a look at it earlier on. The focus was terrible on it. Took the back off and it was tracking. It has a dynamic focus control on it, which had been disconnected, and it was tracking or leaking a bit across that because it was full of dust. It was probably kept somewhere damp for a few years. So I cleaned that off, hooked up the dynamic focus control again. That had been disconnected by the last person who was in there. Looks like the tripper was probably replaced at some stage, and the focus was terrible. So I think there's the focus voltage is shunted through two series connected 1.5 nanofarad 6 kV caps, and I think they may be leaking. So I'm going to order a pair of those and see if I can get the dynamic focus working. But it's working now, focused in the center with the dynamic focus control disconnected. So I have it set up in the house. I'm going to run it for a week or two, see if any other faults occur with it in the meantime. She said she wanted a big TV. She said she wanted a big colour TV, so I got her one. It's ridiculous. It's about 3 foot off the ground. It's this height off the ground, sitting on the ground. There'd be no way I could get it in the shed. There'd be no chance of it fitting on the bench, and it barely fit in the front door of the house. Wouldn't fit, you know, front ways it just would not fit. Sideways about a ½ an inch either side. So it's a serious bit of kit. So I'm going to give it a run in the house for a few weeks and we'll see how our party's on. So I recorded that earlier on. So we'll see what happens. Then I'll come back. I'm going to have a look at this little RCA mono monitor, 9-inch job. See if we can get a bit of life into that. Yeah, so this is the Grundig, which, as I said, must be the largest or one of the largest CRT TVs ever built. It's 35 inches across and it's 4:3 ratio, so it's quite an imposing machine, and needless to say, very, very heavy. The thing with this is the focus. The focus is drifting on it. Now I tried adjusting it, but it appears to have an active focus control, and there's a lot of dust and that in it, and it's probably been damp for quite a while. So here's the tripler here, and that there is focus wire comes out of the tripler over here to this. So I think this is an active focus control here, which changes the focus voltage applied to the beam as the spot travels across the screen. Because it's such a large CRT, that the focus, for the focus being right in the centre, it'll be quite out at the edges. This is a thing you see on the last CRT slim fit Samsung sets. They never really quite got it right with those. But I just think this needs a good clean. I can hear the tracking there a little bit, so I think that's what the problem is. So I'm gonna give it a good clean off, then see if we can get it to focus up right. It's a serious set. The sound is excellent on it. There's a proper speaker enclosure here. The bottom of the set is a speaker enclosure. There's a couple of speakers in there, and it's got a bass driver in the back here. And when you turn up the wick, you can really hear it. It shakes the walls of the house. So anyway, it is improving as it warms up, but it's not right. So I clean it all off. I'll hoover the dust out and that anyway, and we'll see what it's like then, if I can adjust it. Right, so I've gotten into this thing a bit further, and someone has disconnected the active focus. So the focus comes over from the tripler to here, and then from here then on, and then the active focus obviously shunts at the ground with a bit of magic through a 10k resistor which had been snipped. You can see this, the remainder of the 10k resistor there had been snipped off at the body and was pointing up in the air at the focus end, and I think it might have been spraying a little bit and causing the focus deviation. So what I'm going to do is, I don't know if they just snipped the focus, disconnected this because maybe it was a bit hard on the tripler. The tripler has been changed at some stage, I think. You can tell by the soldering on there on the lap that's not factory. Maybe this has failed, I don't know. I checked these caps, they check alright, but they're of a style that do fail. Sadly I don't have any replacements. So I'm just going to have a 10k resistor here I'm after bringing in. I'm going to hook it back up with the active focus control working and see what happens. Watch this space. Right, so I have the active focus control hooked up after soldering the wires back, and they're giving it a bit of a clean off. So I'm going to stick it back together now and see what happens. Well, sure enough, the focus is a million miles out, so I think there is some sort of a fault with the active focus control, and that's why he snipped it out. And you attempt to adjust it, doesn't do anything. So I'm just going to undo the resistor again and see how it works this time. Right, I just snipped the resistor, and I'll try and adjust it now. Obviously we're only going to be able to get it right in the centre. Still no joy. This isn't good. Now I gave the main focus control a little spray, and I have it focused up in the middle. Obviously the edges aren't going to be great. I think I really need to look at them two caps again. I think they might be leaky. Even slightly will be enough to knock it out. So for now I'm going to leave it. That's obviously why the engineer snipped out that resistor in the first place. He probably intended to come back. So I think I'll order two 1.5 nanofarad at 6000 volt caps and stick them into it, and then we'll see if we can get the dynamic focus to work. But for now she's focused quite sharply in the middle, and it's not that bad at the edges, but obviously you want a large set like this. A Megatron is how the Grundig refer to it in the manual. I downloaded the manual, so we want the Megatron to look as good as it can, you know. But we'll go with that for now anyway. So we can see we have the television set up here now working, and it's not too bad. The focus isn't great at the edges, but when we get that dynamic focusing back working, we'll be in business. So the old Grundig Megatron must have been a serious bit of kit in '97. Okay, so back to something a little bit smaller and more manageable. This is a little RCA 9-inch monitor, and someone has been at this and experimenting with it and having a crack with it in the past, because now I've had the back off this already, but I haven't done anything with it. You can see there's a few extra speed holes drilled in the back. There's something in here which I might utilise for something else at some stage. Someone has fitted an amplifier. So they were obviously using this for sound and vision, some setup or other. There's a little Maplin 15 watt audio amplifier bolted to the inside of the case. And it's not hooked up to anything, I don't think. all the power, wherever it's drawn its power from, is still hooked up. But yeah, so someone was obviously using this to maybe they had a speaker fitted in it or something. I don't know. Anyway, I tried powering it off the bench power supply, and I'll try it again. Just for those of you, I'm not going to plug in the mains because it says RCA on it, so I'm not sure. It might be 110 volt. As we can see, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't draw any current. We're sending 12 volts in. So hopefully it's just the switch. Well, it may not be the case. So I'm going to whip the cover off anyway, and we'll have a look. I'm not getting too involved with this today. But, we'll just have a cursory glance. Because what I really need to do is clean up the bench a bit before I go taking anything else apart. I think I'll just snip the wires going to that amplifier for now. Yeah, AC fuse 125 volt 1 amp. So it is a 120 jobber. It's just as well I didn't try and feed the mains in, although maybe someone else got there before me. I think the fuse is intact. Yeah, just check both fuses. Okie dokie. He's open circuit. Oi. I'll find a replacement. Right. I'm after changing the fuse, so we'll give it a go. So the old generator, the bench power supply is set on amps, so we'll see what he does when we switch him on. Let's check. Yeah, he's on 12 volts. Alright, let's go. LED's on, drawing about 700 milliamps. Oh, I can see a bit of a raster. Ah, that's a good start. Mad frame fold over. We've probably got electrolytics in the frame stage giving a bit of grief. It's quite possible. Let's get the signal generator. I'll put the old test card on it. Be interesting. This could be a 525 line monitor, but it'll probably lock on 625. Right, we'll see if we can get it to play ball. Well, we've got very noisy controls here, but it's definitely come on. Alright, I think I'll have to spray them before I go any further. That's going to do me head in trying to do anything with that. indiscriminately spray shit all over the place. Don't like doing that. But I'm not taking the tube out to get at the pots either. Alright, go again. In a bad way. Well, that's not a bad start. That's not a bad start at all. Could be home as well. The old tube looks like it's got plenty of life left in them anyway. We will do a part 2 on this. We'll leave it at that for now. Come on. And yeah, we'll come back to this one. But it's certainly a goer anyway. Alright, thanks for watching. So we've had a small set and a very big set. So, bit of variety. Good luck for now.